Welcome back to the 5% Club. I'm Shayla King, a former C-suite executive turned business and life coach. And this is the podcast for leaders who want it all. The promotions, the paychecks, and luxurious amounts of time for the things that matter most. Each week, I'm going to teach you from my performance and happiness formula what it takes to rise to the top without burnout and overwhelm. Work less, make more, and design a life you love. That's what we do in the 5% Club. Let's go. Hi, friends. Welcome back to the 5% Club. I'm Shayla King, your favorite executive coach. Before we dive in, I know it's been a long time since I've given you some personal updates, so let me throw a few at you. One, our pool is coming along swimmingly. I can't wait to have that done for these Austin summers. What else? Oh, today I'm going to hang out with Willie Nelson. He has an event once a year that's called the Luck Reunion, where he features a bunch of new and upcoming artists. So I think there's like 40 different artists there and a few different stages. So we're going to go hang out all day and night over at Luck Ranch, which is just a few miles away from me here in Hill Country. So that'll be a lot of fun. We recently went to some UT games with friends, went to live theater, became a member of the Soho House here in Austin. So that's been fun. We've gone down there a couple of times. Oh, I'll do a whole episode on this, but there's like so many updates, friends. I won an award called the 50 Women to Know in Texas, and they recently held a gala a couple of weeks ago in Dallas. And so we went down there for the celebration. I got to bring my daughter Ariana with me, which is so cool for her to be in just this room of these powerful women. And I'm talking about I was in really good company. One of the women there had a degree from Stanford, Harvard, was a competitive skier, and had created $200 million businesses and exited. I was like, damn, right? But for her to get to be in this room and see all of these powerful women who are doing amazing things in this world is really cool. And I'll do a whole episode on it because I brought nine of my clients actually flew in and came to celebrate me, that just wanted to be there with me. And so it was such a treat and so heartwarming that they did that. And so we had a private dinner that I'll tell you about, and really how we had some deep, beautiful discussions about how we're not opting into what society wants out of us. So society wants us to be the 95% of women who follow everyone else's playbook and makes them happy and does whatever they expect out of you. And we know that that plan leads us to exhaustion. Sometimes that plan leads us to actually having our physical health decline. And it leads to not the best life. And so we're just not opting in. We're doing it the 5% way. And I'm going to deep dive into that in an upcoming podcast for you. But today I wanted to give you one that feels really timely from conversations that I've been having. This is actually a best of episode from season 1 of the 5% Club podcast. And what we're going to be talking about is sleep. Just so you guys know, I'm a boss at sleeping. I have an Oura ring and I get over 90s almost every night. I got a 97 last night, and I am really good at sleeping. I had to learn how because I have 4 different autoimmune diseases, and I was a single mom in corporate America for years, and I didn't have the physical energy to take care of myself without it. And one of the things we talk about in the Performance and Happiness Lab, one of our modules that's really important is called physical rituals. And in it, you learn what it actually takes for you, uniquely, yourself, to feel and perform at your best. And one of the things that comes up time and time and time again is sleep. So today, you're going to get a treat of a replay of one of our top episodes of all time, Sleep Like a Boss, 14 Proven Rituals. All right, if you haven't already, make sure you subscribe to the show, share it with some friends, and give us a 5-star review. The reviews are absolutely the way that we get the word out to other people so that they can increase their performance and happiness. Let's get into it. See y'all next week. What if I told you the most powerful productivity hack isn't on your calendar? It's in your bed. Welcome back to the 5% Club. I'm Shayla King, your favorite energy and recovery coach. On today's episode, we're covering Sleep Like a Boss, 14 rituals that restore energy, hormones, and executive mojo. This one's for every high performer who's burning through willpower and caffeine, but still waking up exhausted. You're not lazy. You're not unfocused. You're probably just under recovered. Let's fix it. Today, I'm going to take you through 14 rituals for better sleep. I've incorporated most of them myself, and I now wear an aura ring. And let me say, my sleep scores, they rock. They're on the optimal level. I always have little competitions with my husband about how great of sleep I get. And so it was a ritual that was really critical for me to master for my health and happiness because I have 4 autoimmune diseases. So, just in case you're an autoimmune warrior too, that's the term that they like to use. I have Sjogren's, Hashimoto's, ulcerative colitis, and fibromyalgia. And all of those cause inflammation and make you chronically fatigued. So, sleep was critical for me to master because I want to live a beautiful, big, energetic life. And it's also the top area that my coaching clients ask me to help with when we're assessing their physical energy. Sleep is always the one that they're like, yeah, my sleep is terrible. So, 5%ers take sleep seriously because we take ourselves seriously and we take our performance and our happiness seriously. So let's start by talking about why sleep is a non negotiable ritual. So, Ariana Huffington, in her book Thrive, tells the story of collapsing from exhaustion. She broke her cheekbone on the way down. And that was her moment where she realized that sleep wasn't a luxury, it was a necessity, a strategy, and a foundation for success. She actually went on to put sleep pods in her company and said she wants it to be the case that rather than it being weird to take a nap at work, she wanted it to be weird to make big decisions for the company while sleep deprived. In her book, she talks about the major catastrophes that have happened in the world and like Exxon the Valdez oil spill and the Challenger explosion, and how when you research those, you find that almost all major catastrophes in human history, in some part, can be led back to sleep deprivation. And those two she shares in the book, like detailed examples of how people knew things were going to go wrong, but they were too tired and didn't address them. I also find it fascinating on a side note that we can research these instances and find out that in corporations not feeling comfortable giving feedback and knowing something that could help the organization, could help improve the decision, could help eliminate risk isn't shared because of the hierarchical nature and how bad we are at receiving feedback. So that's just a Shayla side note that I think is fascinating if you study those big issues that happen in history as well. But for this, with her research, she found that people being exhausted and sleep fatigued was one of the number one reasons that contributed to these disasters. They also find that when you're driving, that being sleep deprived can be the same as being drunk. We are not performing at our best when we're sleep deprived. It makes us almost delusional. It makes us angry and short, and we just don't show up with that energy. Remember before we talked about like if you were going to be a 1 through a 10, how do you feel? And most people say 5, 6, 7. And then I asked you, do you want to date a 6? Do you want to hire a 6? Do you want to work for a 6? No. People are attracted to people that come in the room and they feel fantastic. They're happy to be there. They show up with energy. It's literally magnetic. And you cannot have that magnetic persona and draw people in if you're freaking yawning and exhausted and feel like you're just barely making it through the day. And so trust me, I get it. It doesn't get worse than that autoimmune disease like fatigue where it would hurt to get out of bed. And it would feel like each one of my legs were, 150 pounds and it would hurt to walk to the bathroom. I remember walking up the stairs at Coke Industries, and there's probably like 12 of them. And had tears in my eyes because the pain was so immense walking up those stairs. So I know what complete exhaustion feels like. And I may never be 100% perfectly healthy the way that somebody could that doesn't have these things. But because I have figured out my personal playbook, what works best for me, I am able to live a vastly different life than other people that have the same conditions. So that's what we want to do for you. We want to figure out exactly what works for you, makes you tick, so that you can put those things into place to come out and have the most energy and feel the best that you can under your circumstances, right? So, um, I want to talk about where I was, and then I'm going to talk to you about why sleep is so important. And we're going to jump into 14 different habits that will help. So, I used to give all my energy all day. And when my battery hit zero, I climbed into bed. I left like no time, no energy before going into bed. I just collapsed. I mean, guys, I was like too tired for any type of nighttime routine. I didn't take off my makeup. Sometimes I didn't even brush my teeth. I know it's disgusting. Um, but I was just so exhausted from the day, from doing way too much and not understanding my energy reserves, not understanding how to downshift throughout the day, and not seeing sleep for the importance that it was. So I learned over the years through coaching to own my life and not just let it happen to me. I didn't have to be a victim of just, I had to get one more thing done for the kids and one more thing done for work. And now there's no time to do anything but collapse. So I knew I had to make a change. So I started researching the importance of sleep, how to get good sleep. And I came up with a new thought about sleep that I want to share with you today. So you see, sleep is something that we do for a third of every single day. Yet we treat it like it's a necessary evil. It just happens. We don't think about it. We don't prepare for it. We just lay down and hope it works. What if instead we thought about our day in segments? This is the reframe that helped me. What if I prepared for bed the same way I prepared for the day? Because think about it. We have processes to get ready in the morning for that section of our day. Maybe it's brushing your teeth and hair, or drinking coffee or tea, or maybe it's something more elaborate like, grounding and journaling, creating goals list, doing your hair and makeup, choosing an outfit for the day, working out, doing a sauna, cold plunge, like whatever it is that you do. There's at least some amount of a ritual that you do to get ready for that section of your day. But sleep, we have no prep, we have no plan. We just climb into bed exhausted. When really, it's 1/3 of our life and another huge segment of our day. It's where our mind, our body, and our hormones do their most important work. So let's talk about it. What actually does happen when we're asleep? I'm going to give you a little bit of science behind it, why it's so important, and why it's a performance hack. So while we're asleep, our cells actually detox from the day. Our glymphatic system, which is like the brain's cleanup crew, I always imagine like people with little brooms through the street, they actually flush out waste products that build up from thinking, from working, and from simply being awake. And so that has to get flushed out, and that happens when we sleep well. This includes something that's hard for me to say. It's like beta amyloid. Maybe I got that right. But it's a compound that's linked to Alzheimer's when it accumulates. So imagine those street sweepers needing to clean up all this trash. And if they don't and it accumulates, it causes Alzheimer's and other diseases. It's wildly important. While we're sleeping, our immune system resets, repairs inflammation, and it scans for trouble. Our hormones regulate, especially cortisol. So cortisol is the one we've talked about before. Throughout your day, as the stress rises and you don't downgrade, you don't regulate your emotions, that just keeps rising, 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 rising. It's what has you hold on to extra fat. It creates extra stress in your body, which causes all types of disease. So while we're sleeping, our hormones regulate, especially cortisol, insulin, and the growth hormone, which support everything from fat metabolism to emotional stability. And this is kind of cool. Our memories consolidate, which means your brain literally sorts files and strengthens what you learned that day. So, yeah, sleep is part of your productivity strategy. It's part of your performance. It's not just a break from it. It's not passive. It's not optional. It's a high performance recovery system. And if we're not protecting it, we're not protecting our results. All right. So today we're not just talking about hacks. We're talking about treating sleep like a high performance ritual that it actually is. I'm going to take you through 14 rituals for better sleep. I've incorporated most of them. And I told you I wear that Aura ring and my sleep scores rock. So it's just a critical area for us to live a big, beautiful, energetic life. So let's go through the 14 rituals for better sleep. These are all backed by experts and proven by science. Number 1, keep a consistent sleep schedule. So, Dr. Matthew Walker, who was featured on Diary of a CEO, one of my other favorite podcasts, um, and he has Why We Sleep, says that the number one thing we can do for better sleep is to wake and sleep at the same time every day, even weekends, y'all. It locks in your circadian rhythm and it improves deep sleep. It teaches your body what to expect and it can naturally go into those cycles easier. Now, I'll be a realist. I'm not going to go to bed the same time every night, even on the weekends, because sometimes I like to have a little more fun on the weekend. But I try to keep it within an hour, right? So if you normally go to bed between 9:30 and 10:30, then on the weekend it's between 10:30 and 11:30. Any of those huge swings, any shift workers really disrupts your circadian rhythm and it keeps you from getting into deep sleep regularly. So, what I'd ask you to do is at least look at the minimum of the weeknights. On the weeknights, can you go to sleep within the same 30-minute window or an hour window? And then on the weekends, can you watch it from getting too much off? Even sleeping in the mornings on weekends will then screw up your sleep schedule. So trying to say if I get up at 6:30 during the week, then I'm going to be up by 7:30 on Saturdays. It will help you get deeper sleep. We all think, well, hey, that's my chance to sleep in. But when you start doing sleep right, you don't need to sleep in because you'll fully get the deep sleep that you need in your REM sleep without having to add in 3 extra hours on the weekend. That's number 1. Keep a consistent sleep schedule. Number 2, get morning sunlight within 30 minutes of waking. So, Dr. Andrew Huberman was on the Mel Robbins podcast, and he was recommending natural light first thing. It turns on your daytime hormones. And so, the idea is that the sunlight actually goes through your eyeballs and tells your brain it's time to wake up. So, you actually don't want to have sunglasses on either. We're not staring straight at the sun, we're just being out around it. And our body has its own process, of course, to help us know when it's time to wake up and when it's time to go to bed. And so going outside and letting our eyes see the sunlight right away is a way of telling our body it's time to wake up. So doing that first thing will turn on your daytime hormones and it will start the melatonin timer for better sleep that night. Now, there are some hacks you can look at too, where if you are somewhere where it's dark or it's winter, that there are some lights that mimic that sunlight that you can have inside of your house. So that's something that you could look into as well. Number 3, cut caffeine. So the recommendation is after 2 o'clock from Dr. Rangan Chatterjee. Hopefully, I'm saying that right. And he explains that caffeine blocks the chemical that builds sleep pressure. And so that late afternoon coffee or soda is probably messing with your nighttime routine more than you realize. I don't drink any caffeine after like 11. I've never thought that I'm super sensitive to it. Like I've never felt that I'm a jolty type of person. But the more you study sleep and you want your body to be in that relaxed state, then the more you consider doing these things. So I'll have a cup of coffee or two in the morning and then nothing after 11. So that's what works best for me. Number 4, create a digital sunset. So turning off your technology before it's time for bed. So some of it is the idea of the lights and that blue light blocks melatonin. But more importantly, when you're scrolling, it's giving your brain those trigger points that put you in alert mode. It is constantly dinging and waking you up. And what you actually want is to make sure that you are starting to slow down your brain and you're starting to get into rest mode. So, definitely not scrolling before bed. If you want some time to scroll, just put it a little bit earlier in your day. And if you can, no TV either. So There are beautiful ways to relax and shut down before bed other than your phone and your TV. It could be reading, it could be meditating, it could be listening to music, it could be journaling, it could be doing a puzzle, but you want something that slows down your brain and your body instead of having those fast signals that keep it active. Okay. Now, we are on number 4. I'm going to take you through 14. And as I go through these, I want you to just say, what one or two could I incorporate? You do not have to do all of these things. You are going to notice a big difference from just incorporating one or two that you didn't before. So don't turn it off if you're like, Shayla, I'm going to be on my phone before bed. I'm not doing it. Right? Just choose a different one. All right. Number 5 is one of my favorite. Make your bedroom cool, dark, and quiet. So Dr. Eric Prather was on We Can Do Hard Things, which is another one of my favorite podcasts, with Glenn and Doyle. And he said that your core body temperature needs to fall asleep. And so you're going to aim for your room to be 65 degrees, blackout curtains, and noise reduction. So what that looks like for me, I do all of these things. If you have like a Nest or a Google Home, you can tell it what temperature to set it at ahead of time. And so I have mine go down to 65 degrees and 64 to 66, somewhere between there. And I have it start to wind that temperature down before I need it, right? So it should be between 9 and 9:30 actually hitting that temperature. And then I have blackout curtains in my room and I wear a fully dark sleep mask. I also look in my room for like if Alexa has notifications on and it circles a color at the top, it drives me crazy. So I always clear those out. You could have, whether it's alarm clocks or any type of technology that's plugged in, might be emitting a light. Watch for those, move them out of your room if you can or further away from you. I'm talking dark, dark, like you're going to stub your toe when you get up, kind of dark. Okay. You will notice a difference with your sleep. I love it. Dark, dark, dark. And very cold. So if you need 2 blankets at first and then you take one off, that's fine, but it will help your body stay asleep and be in a deeper sleep throughout the night when you have it really cold. And then for noise reduction, I do have Alexa go on to like making storms or waves or whatever sound helps you to have that noise reduction. My house is super echoey, and even like the ice dropping in the freezer, I can hear from my room, right? So the kids opening and closing their doors. So anything that can just help zone out any of the small sounds are really helpful. I love a dark, cold room. All right. Number 6, use magnesium to help as you go to bed. So Dr. Taz Bhatia recommends magnesium glycinate, especially for women navigating perimenopause or menopause. It calms your nervous system. Others use L-theanine, ashwagandha, or melatonin. But of course, talk to your doctor first. I'm not a doctor. But I do a supplement routine before bed, and mine's specific for my autoimmune diseases, but I think it helps me sleep as well. It does have magnesium in it. And I read about tart cherry juice as well. So I take a mixture of kombucha with a little tart cherry juice, and then I put liquid vitamins in there. The liquid vitamins from a healthy, good compound pharmacy or reliable source has been the best for me because it's easier for my body to digest because of my stomach problems. And so taking those before bed, like an hour before, can help with helping your body to relax and get ready for bed. So you can research and talk to your doctor about specific supplements that work best for you. But the tart cherry juice and magnesium are part of my personal protocol. All right. Number 7, there's a lot of discussion right now about menopause, and it is almost like this new subject that's came up in the last 18 months. And you can find stuff on all types of channels. Oprah's been talking about it. Mel Robbins has been talking about it. It's all a lot of experts now that you can find and research more. But the main tip here is to consider hormone replacement therapy for menopausal sleep disruption. So Dr. Mary Claire Haver says sleep issues are often hormonal. And if you're waking up with night sweats or 2 a.m. anxiety, ask your provider whether or not hormone support could help. and you deserve options. I was just listening the other day that there was a study done that they've actually, like 30 years ago, and they've now found that there's multiple problems with the study. But because the study was so widely publicized and believed, that they thought there was a link between hormone replacement therapy and breast cancer. And because it was so widely believed and not challenged, that they saw a huge drop in how many women were receiving hormone replacement therapy to help with these menopausal symptoms. And now, come to find out, they're finding benefits of the hormone replacement therapy not only for all of the symptoms that women go through during this time, but also to help with like reducing chances of a heart issues. So it was something really unfortunate that just wasn't studied and questioned enough. And a lot of women had to deal with these symptoms without help. And there is a lot of ways to help the rapid fall of our hormones that cause issues in every part of our life. So I'm not an expert on it, but I highly suggest that you tap into all of the experts that are providing very fresh new guidance on this subject now. All right. Number 8, limit alcohol. Dax Shepard, armchair expert, another one of my favorite podcasts. He's been really open about alcohol and sleep and how even one drink reduces REM and leaves you foggy. Dr. Prather says alcohol sedates you, but doesn't help you sleep. That's a huge distinction. It's making you feel like you're falling asleep, but actually getting the right levels of REM and deep sleep are completely different. And so it's really fascinating. You can see with the Aura Ring, I don't drink a lot, but I do drink, and we can watch the difference, my husband and I, when we have a drink or two, on what it does to our sleep. So if you're thinking about, well, it's just one glass with dinner tonight, maybe not. If it's not going to add that much incremental benefit to you, then maybe skip it and get the incremental benefit in your sleep. So something to consider. Obviously, the more you drink, the more it's going to interrupt your sleep. But even one glass, they found, does reduce your REM. All right. Number 9, close the loop before bed. So how can you get out all of those thoughts that keep you awake at night? So whether it's your phone or having a notebook next to you, but just jotting down and what I call a thought download of everything that's on your mind. It will help you get out to-dos that you don't want to forget. It will help you process the day and help you to be able to relax. So a thought download is simply grabbing a pen and paper and letting your brain free flow. So it could be, oh crap, I forgot to send this email today. And then my daughter needs to bring her soccer uniform to school tomorrow. And oh, I need to call Angela back. And what show was that I was watching? And what am I going to wear tomorrow? And I really enjoyed lunch today with Heather. That was really nice. And whatever it is, doesn't matter if whatever stream of consciousness comes out. It can be things that you're worried about, things that you need to do. It can be things you're grateful for. You can try to keep incorporating more and more gratitude into this. But getting out all of those things that will keep you awake, don't forget that your brain is actively trying to remember when you go to bed, it can really help you slow down and get ready for bed. All right, number 10, exercise. Now, earlier in the day is better for sleep because late workouts can raise your adrenaline and delay melatonin. But I do think one of the reasons that I sleep really well is that I go to the gym 5 days a week and lift heavy weights and walk. And I do that first thing in the morning. So if you want to sleep better, you need to move your body and make it tired during the day so that then you can sleep well at night. So, fun fact, I was in the Army and I have never slept better. And let me tell y'all, it was not the comfy beds. It was not the comfy blanket. It was not that they gave me a cold, dark room with some nice meditation music in the background. It's because my physical body was exhausted. So get your exercise in first thing in the morning, and it will help you sleep better the next night. Number 11, take a warm bath an hour before bed. So here's the trick. It's actually not the heat that helps, but when you get into hot water and relax yourself, and then you get out and you're cold, that actually drops your core temperature and it signals the body that it's time for sleep. So fun fact there. Number 12, use lavender pillow spray or some form of aromatherapy. Studies show that lavender oil can reduce anxiety and improve sleep latency. So I have a little bottle by my bed that I just spray on my pillows before bed. And it's not magic, but it is a cue. And we can cue our body with smells like that, putting on real pajamas. Don't sleep in yoga clothes, sleep in real pajamas instead, and get your body cued that now we're going into sleep mode. Number 13, reduce sleep latency. It usually takes 10 to 20 minutes to fall asleep. They measure that on the Ring and on some other wearables. So if you want 8 hours of sleep, remember you have to be in bed for at least 8.5 hours. It's so funny because we think that if we go to bed at 10 and we wake up at 6, that we got 8 hours of sleep. But you're going to wiggle and move and not always be sleeping. And so you have to be physically in bed for longer than the amount of sleep that you want. Also, for my body, I like 9 hours of sleep. So that means I might be in bed 9.5 hours. And there's nothing wrong with that at all. I'm so much more of a high performer during the day. I have better energy and I'm in a better mood because I let myself get the 9 hours that my body needs. So we're not going to guilt or shame ourselves into how much sleep we need. We need what we need, and we're going to get deeper, better sleep by following these hacks. All right. Finally, number 14, track your sleep with a wearable. So I told you I use the Oura Ring. Many of my clients do too, but there's a lot of different trackers that you can use. You can use the Whoop Band or the Apple Watch Ultra, and it'll track your sleep stages, your heart rate, your readiness for the next day, and your body temperature. And it's not about perfection, but it's about awareness. And that's where I told you can get that feedback loop. Like, did that drink bother me or not? And did I get enough sleep last night or not? And so I like it too, because I told you on average, I'm about 9 hours of sleep, but sometimes the other day I got a 94, which is an optimal sleep score. And I was in bed only like 7 hours and 10 minutes, but I fell asleep deep. Right. So you can kind of watch those, and they're kind of fascinating to track as well. So those are your 14 hacks. Let's stop treating sleep like something we squeeze in. Let's start treating it like something that we build around and prepare for. We're not going to skip the time where our body heals and our brain resets and our hormones rebalance. We need that to increase our performance and our happiness. Sleep isn't optional, it's strategic, and it's sacred. And it's a huge part of what separates the 95% from the 5%. So I want you, for your Evolve work, to simply find 1 or 2 items from that list that you're going to incorporate. Remember, you don't have to do it all, but you'll see a huge change from just 1 or 2. And then send me a DM, let me know which one you tried, leave a comment and a review, and I'd love to hear it. If this episode hit home and you want help implementing these rituals without the guilt, without the hustle or overwhelm, I've got you. You can join the waitlist now for my one-on-one coaching or my group program, the Performance and Happiness Lab. It's for high performers who want to rise without burning out and create a life they actually love waking up to. So head to ShaylaKing.com to get on the list. And if you found this episode helpful, do me a favor, rate, review, and share it with the person in your life who needs better sleep and higher standards. Until next time, get some rest, 5%ers. You've got a big life to lead. Let's evolve together. See ya. Thanks for joining me in the 5% Club today. If you're ready to make more, work less, and design a life you love, then go to ShaylaKing.com and join the waitlist. You'll be the first to know when there's openings to work with me in one-on-one coaching or the Performance and Happiness Lab, my group container where you will learn to be a high-performing, highly paid executive who loves your whole life. I'll see you there.